Everyone has a silly piece of knowledge that they're able to present to others in somewhat of a humorous sort of way, and I've got one. It's kind of silly, and it's pertinent now because the World Series is going to end in a few days. I know the last outs or the last play of the World Series of every year going back to 1954, and I'm going to go through those for you right now. All right, here we go. We start in 1954. The final out of the World Series that year was the Cleveland Indians' Dale Mitchell. Dale Mitchell would become famous 2 years later for being the final out of Don Larson's perfect game. In 1955, the Brooklyn Dodgers won the World Series. Elston Howard grounds to short. Throw to first, Johnny Padres jumping on the mound. The Dodgers beat the Yankees in the World Series. 1956. Jackie Robinson, final at bat of his Major League career, strikes out, ball gets away, sprints to first, throw to first, in time. Jackie Robinson out, World Series over. 1957, the Braves beat the Yankees. And it was Moose Skowron grounding to third with the bases loaded. Eddie Matthews steps on the bag, gets all excited afterwards, pretty funny. 1958 is a Hall of Famer, Red Shandies. 1959 is a Hall of Famer, Louis Saporicchio. 1960 is a Hall of Famer, but it's a home run, Bill Mazeroski hitting it for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1961 is Vada Pinson, not a Hall of Famer, but a Hall of Very Good. 1962 is a Hall of Famer. It's Willie McCovey. Line drive to second base. Runners on second and third, 2 out, 1-0 game. If it goes past the second baseman, the game's over and the Giants are world champions, but the Yankees win instead. Keep in mind the guy who caught the ball is Bobby Richardson. We'll get to him in a second. 1963 is Hector Lopez against the Dodgers. 64, Bobby Richardson against the Cardinals and Bob Gibson. 1965 is Bob Allison striking out, swinging, missing against Sandy Koufax. The celebration was handshakes. It looked kind of weird. 1966, Lou Johnson of the Dodgers flies out. The Orioles sweep the Dodgers in 4 straight. Koufax's career is over. 1967, George Scott strikes out against Bob Gibson. 1968, he talks about it sometimes. Tim McCarver popped to the catcher. Tigers win. They come back from 3-1 down to beat the Cardinals. 1969, future Met manager Davey Johnson. Cleon Jones catch goes to a knee. Series over. Mets win. 1970, Pat Corrales. Reds lose to the Orioles. Pat Corrales, like Davey Johnson, would become a manager. 71's not a manager, but a future hitting coach. Merv Rettenman, the Orioles. Ground ball, throw to first in time. Steve Blass gets so excited, jumps into the arms of the first baseman. 1972, Pete Rose, kind of cool that a big name player would do something like that. 1973, poor Mets. Miracle team, make the playoffs, make the World Series somehow, lose to the A's in 7 games. Wayne Garrett pops out for the final out. 1974 is a great one if you've ever seen it on tape. It's a ground ball back to the pitcher. Raleigh Fingers does a little dance and then throws to first. Von Joshua was the hitter. He'd become a hitting coach too. 1975 is a Hall of Famer, Carl Yastrzemski. 1976, Yankees and Reds. Reds sweep the Yankees in 4 straight games. Final out is a fly ball to left field. As the left fielder catches it, everyone on the Reds sprints to the dugout because they're all afraid that the fans are going to storm the field. 1977 is a cool one. Lee Lacy of the Dodgers pops out. Who makes the catch? The pitcher, Mike Torres. Next year, Mike Torres, pitching for the Red Sox, gives up the home run to Bucky Dent. Yankees go on to that World Series, win. Ron Say pops out to the catcher to end the series. 1979, Pat Kelly, Baltimore Orioles against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Fly ball to center field. 1980, Tug McGraw strikes out Willie Wilson, does a little stand-up to clinch the World Series. Willie Wilson strikes out for the Royals. 1981, Bob Watson, fly to center. Ken Landreau catches it, starts to throw it into the crowd, says no. Keeps the ball. I talked about him. I talked to him about it. He still has the ball. 1982, Gorman Thomas strikes out against Bruce Sutter. 1983, Cal Ripken Jr. catches the final out. Gary Maddox line drive to short. 1984, the late great Tony Gwynn flies to left. Tigers win the World Series. 1985, no outs to go. Andy Van Slyke flies to right field. Paul Carr very happy. Our friend Paul Carr. The Royals win the World Series. 1986, Marty Barrett, swing and a miss. Jesse Orozco throws the glove in the air. 1987, ground ball at third base. Gary Gaetti fields it. Willie McGee hits it. 1988, Orel Hershiser goes to a knee. Dodgers beat the A's. He strikes out Tony Phillips. 1989 is a weird one. Ground ball, second base. First baseman's going for it, can't field it. Second baseman fields it, throws. Dennis Eckersley covering in time. A's win the series. 1990, Carney Lansford popped to first. Reds sweep the A's in 4 straight games. Stunning upset. 1991, Gene Larkin, base hit to win the series for the Minnesota Twins. 1992, Braves and Blue Jays Classic Series. Otis Nixon, little bunt back to Mike Timlin, flips to Joe Carter in time. Joe Carter then hits the home run to win the 93 World Series the next year. Caught a ball, hit a home run. 94, no World Series. Ugh, terrible. Can't even think about it. 1995, Carlos Baerga. Fly ball center field. Caught. Braves beat the Indians. Tom Glavine the win. Mark Wohlers the save. I don't have great memories of either one. 1996, Charlie Hayes makes the catch. Pop up. Mark Lemke pops up for the Braves. Yankees win the World Series. 97, Edgar Renteria. Line drive, base hit center field. Past Charles Nagy. Poor Indian fans, they still haven't won the World Series. 1998, Mark Sweeney. Gonna take a breath. Mark Sweeney, 1998 Padres. Ground ball at third. Mariano Rivera gets the final out. 1999, Keith Lockhart, fly ball, Jack Curtis the catch for the Yankees. They win again, and they win again the next year when Mike Piazza of the Mets hits a fly ball to center field. Bernie Williams makes the catch. Everyone's jumping up and down. Next year, though, Yankees going for 4 in a row. Luis Gonzalez, base hit over Derek Jeter. Yankees lose at 7. Diamondbacks win the World Series. Home team won every game. 2002. Kenny Lofton flies to center. Angels win. Angels win. Troy Percival all excited on the mountain. 2003. The one unassisted with Josh Beckett tagging out the batter, Jorge Posada. 2004. Edgar Renteria. Ground ball back to Keith Falk. Doug McCaffrey catches it and then fights and says that it's his ball and the Red Sox can't have it. Eventually they settle their dispute. Red Sox win their first World Series since 1918. 2005, epic play, very close play at first base. Orlando Palmeiro, the Astros, on a ground ball to short, just thrown out by a hair. 2006, Adam Wainwright struck out Carlos Beltran to end the NLCS. And in the World Series, he strikes out Brandon Inge. 2007, Jonathan Papelbottle, excited on the mound, strikes out Seth Smith to end the series. Brad Lynch does something similar the next year, 2008, clinching the series, striking out Eric Hinsky of the Tampa Bay Rays. 2009, Shane Victorino, ground ball to second base. Yankees win the World Series. 2010, Brian Wilson, the guy with the big beard, strikes out Nelson Cruz. 2011, Cardinals come back, beat the Rangers in 7 games. David Murphy fly to left, series over. 2012, Miguel Cabrera at the plate, strike 3 called. What's he doing? Doesn't swing the bat. And then 2013, last but not least, Matt Carpenter against Koji Uehara. 60 years of World Series endings, summed up by me. Thank you.